are giving attention to the Tea Party Express, some of these for-profit Tea Party groups that are coming in and radically changing these primaries. They did it in Delaware, they did it in Alaska, they did it to some extent in Nevada as well. But I think one of the groups that hasn't been discussed as much is the Family Research Council, because they were in all of these races well before the Tea Party Express, with organizers on the ground, with money to the candidates, and they're a force. They just had a conference the last weekend where everyone came and paid homage to Tony Perkins. Yep. But at the same time, Tony Perkins just said a couple days ago he doesn't think Obama's a Christian. He questioned his faith. He said he's advancing the Muslim religion. How do we change that? Because I obviously there are a lot of strong, respectable Christian groups, but with Family Research Council kind of leading the evangelical community, how do you change that dynamic when they're spreading these fears?
Well, I think what we should do is try to stick to the Ten Commandments, and especially the ninth commandment here, which is thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. I remember one year Bill Clinton at a prayer breakfast said one of the most insightful things I ever heard him say. You heard it here first from a Republican who said Bill Clinton said something very insightful. He said the most violated commandment in Washington, D.C. Everybody leaned in. Do tell, Mr. President. He said, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And there's an awful lot of false witness about our neighbor going on in Washington politics. I mean, it's just really, and it always has been the case, nothing new under the sun, but it just travels so much faster now, and it becomes so much more affirmed by news islands that people travel to get their news, to get affirmation of their views. And any other information is an affront to the tribe's orthodoxy, and so it's rejected at some sort of deep emotional level. They reject it, and so it's a very difficult time in politics now and in political discourse to get through to people, because if they encounter information that's counter to the tribe's orthodoxy that they're part of, they have a tendency to reject it.
Well, how do you change that? Do you have...
I think what we need is some tribes to be exposed for not being credible.